Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today is a season for giving, and I felt like this is the appropriate time to give something special that all of you can utilize today. So I've developed a system called the Divine Level Up. And in this system, this is basically where we take a few core principles and we figure out how to apply them in our lives. Because as the new year comes in, we need to make sure that we're operating at the highest efficiency so that way we can start 2026 off on the right foot and end it on an even higher note. A lot of times what happens is people make resolutions for things and goals, but they don't set systems up in place so that way they can execute on these things efficiently. So this is something that I'm going to be doing this year, and I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I'm going to be implementing in my future moving forward. So that way I am operating at the highest level and I am litigating my distractions and I am maximizing on the opportunities that are in front of me. So again, this is called the Divine Level Up System. And it's a framework for intentional growth across every dimension of life. The core principle behind this is leveling up isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more aligned and then allowing the action to follow up. So this system is built on four main pillars. It's order the outer world. The second one is strengthen the vessel. The third one is master the material. And the fourth one is anchor the relationship. And these four pillars are based on the mind and spirit, the body and presence, having presence, being present, money and skill, and family and legacy. These are the four main pillars that you need to build in order to solidify your foundation. And maybe you already have some of these in place, but you just need to implement a couple more things. This is where this system comes into play because this is going to help you achieve all four of these. It's going to help you to build your body. It's going to help you to build your mind. It's going to help you to build your spirit. And it's going to help you build your finances and develop a deeper relationship with your family, with your loved ones, with the ones that you consider family or the ones that you love. Because I know everybody's dynamic is different. But this is going to still help you to build that family foundation. So we're going to talk about the first pillar, which is order the inner world. This entails the mind and the spirit. So the purpose behind this first pillar is to build clarity before complexity. So first you have to be clear and understanding as to what it is that you want to do and why you want to do it. And then you start to go into the minute details of how you're going to get this thing done. So what you want to build in this inner world is observation over reaction. You want to be able to observe things before you react or respond to them. The second thing is intentional thought mixed with intentional energy. You want to build the right intention so that way you're doing things with purpose and not just doing things just because. The second thing is daily stillness to organize the mind. Getting calm and being still, finding that for yourself. Even if you have only 5 minutes, finding that stillness for yourself so that way you can reorganize and recalibrate yourself so you can go out and execute is going to be so key coming up in 2026. So some of the practices that you can do are meditation, right? Reflection. And reflection can include like journaling, writing down the things that happen throughout your day, writing down the things that you notice throughout your day, right? Because this creates a level of attention and awareness to your environment and your circumstances, and it brings you closer to yourself. Learning with comprehension and not just consumption. We live in a fast consumption society right now where everything gets consumed in about 3 seconds and then it's on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. You need to be consuming things to comprehend and not just to consume. And you need to be intentional with your learning. Which, by the way, if you don't know how to learn, I actually have a guide that helps you to learn and understand yourself better. This is the guide to your intelligence type. And this guide helps you to gain a deeper understanding of who you are and how you learn So that way we can develop a game plan for you to achieve and become the greatest version of yourself. If you're looking to make more money, if you're looking to start a business, if you're looking to get a promotion, this system is going to help you do that. So click the link down below and get started. The second pillar that we're going to focus on is strengthen the vessel. Now this entails the body and presence. So the purpose behind this is to build the body, right? Because the body carries the mission. You cannot execute efficiently if your body isn't executing at the same rate as your mind. So in this, we want to start to develop more fitness as discipline and not as vanity. At some point, you're going to have to deal with the operation of your body. It's best that you do it now instead of having no other choice later on but to do something about it. I always preach this. I know it sucks. I know nobody wants to be in the gym and wake up early and do all the things. I get it. It's tough. It's challenging. I understand. But what's tougher and what's more challenging is getting up to go to the hospital. Now that's a challenge, especially those medical bills, right? Would you rather pay $25 a month for a gym membership, or would you rather pay $25,000 for unnecessary surgery? I'm just saying, if you prioritize your health now, it's going to save you so much in the long run, and it's going to build up discipline as well. So fitness is discipline, not vanity. Health as a long-term investment. I know that sometimes eating healthy can be expensive, right? But I don't believe that eating healthy can be expensive, right? I don't believe that. I believe that health comes with a level of intention. And people think that eating healthy is expensive, but really it's not. And most times, it's not even what you eat. It's the things that you choose not to eat. So getting yourself on a diet, right? Cutting some things out. Maybe dropping the pork, drop the beef. You know what I'm saying? Like lessen those consumptions. Stop drinking soda, drink more water. You know, lessen up on the coffee, right? Drink some tea, you know, just switch some things up, right? Eat more greens, eat more fruits. Just switch some things up so that way you can start operating at an optimal level, because your health is the best investment that you will ever make. Matter of fact, there are some people I've seen before who are millionaires, but they didn't prioritize their health. And they end up spending all of their millions on getting their health back. You don't want to be that. It makes no sense to have all of this wealth and all of this knowledge if your body isn't functioning. So use health as a long-term investment. And the second one is presence as self-respect, right? So what this means is you value yourself at such a high level that you bring yourself to the present moment. You don't allow yourself to get distracted, and you don't allow anything to throw you off of your system. Now, even if you do get a little sidetracked, it's okay, because you have an understanding of the foundation that you're building, and you have an understanding of the system that you are functioning off of. And so you get back on track. So the way you do that is by being present with yourself and by being present with whatever it is that you're doing. Even if you're working at a place that you may not care for, if you start to practice presence, you can start to create an exit strategy if that's someplace you don't want to be. It starts by being present. It's not by focusing on the problem. It starts by focusing on the present. Here's some practices that you can also implement as well. Consistent movement, right? Nutritional awareness. And this one right here, I think is really important. Skincare as a ritual, not an aesthetic. And when I thought about this, I was like, you know, one of my goals is to really get more intentional with my skincare game, right? Because I feel like I have pretty good skin, right? I feel like I really take care of myself very well and I stay hydrated. But for me, right, it's not just for aesthetics, right? Because when I feel good in my body, I operate better. And having good skin is a sign of good health. It's a sign of how you take care of yourself. And it also goes back to the presence, being present as a self-discipline, as a self-respect, I should say. Being present as a self-respect. When you're present with yourself, right, And when you incorporate that with a skincare routine, with a real rigorous, ritualistic skincare routine, I'm telling you, your life changes. You feel better, you look better. And this, honestly, it attracts so many opportunities to you, right? Because people will want to give you opportunities, right? People will want to hear you out because you have an appeal to you. You have a level of attraction to you because they see how you take care of yourself. Because this right here, this speaks for you. This speaks for you before you even open your mouth. And that creates a level of interest. And that's what you want to be doing throughout your life. If you want to grow and evolve, you want to create interest. So there's that. Number 3, master the material. This one, a lot of y'all need help with, okay? This involves money and skill sets. So the purpose of this is to make your resources amplify your intention. So a lot of us think that we don't have any resources to us, but really in reality we do. Like, look at what you have right now. Look at what you're watching this video on right now. If it's not a TV, then it's probably a phone, or it's probably a laptop or something of that nature, a tablet or something. You have everything that you really truly need to at least get you started in the right direction. A lot of us think that we lack resources, but really we live in the most resourceful time now more than ever. The thing that is really lacking is the intention. Skill building over shortcuts. This one is important too because you want to be building actionable skills that you can use as opposed to just trying to find the easy way out. Prioritize building your skill set instead of trying to find shortcuts on how to get money, because it's not about money. It's about the skill, and it's about the service, and it's about what you provide and what value you give to others. And business as applied wisdom. Now, what this means is that as you're going throughout your journey, you're going to learn a lot about business. There's going to be things that are good. There's going to be things that are bad. But your job is to figure out what works best for you, what works best for your situation, and whatever it is that you're trying to build. So anytime you're learning anything about business, you want to be able to extract the lessons from it. That's where the wisdom comes from. So I've been an entrepreneur for years now, and I've learned so much throughout my entrepreneurial journey. And everything that I've learned throughout my entrepreneurial journey equates to wisdom, which is how I've been able to develop systems, because I figured out what didn't work and I figured out what did work. And I kept building from there. And I just kept adding to my toolbox, adding to my philosophy, adding to the things that really truly helped me. So use business as a way to apply wisdom to your everyday life, because business is life. And here's some practices that you can do. Financial literacy, strategic thinking, and refined business acumen. Financial literacy is simple. You can watch like Earn Your Leisure on YouTube, and they teach financial literacy, right? You can watch Wall Street Chapter. He teaches financial literacy, right? Those are just to name a few. Strategic thinking. If you really want to know how to think, you can watch like 19 Keys, because he's a thought leader, right? You can watch Myron Golden, because he teaches about how to think about money, right? He teaches about ways to think about money. Just to name a few, right, as an example. And finally, refining your business acumen. I just stated it earlier, right? Anytime you're starting a business, or you're learning about business, or you're experiencing, some level of entrepreneurship, just continue to refine yourself in that space. Whatever it is that you're doing, just continue to refine yourself in that space. And finally, the last pillar, anchor the relationship. This talks about family and legacy. So the purpose of this is this. The purpose behind this is this. Growth means nothing if it disconnects you from people. It doesn't matter how much you grow if you're not connecting with the right people, if you're not connecting it with your family. Because everybody's always talking about generational wealth and breaking generational curses, right? But you can't do that if you're not building for your family. It's cool when you start to build it for yourself, but at some point you're gonna want a family. You're gonna want to build a family. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But maybe you have cousins, or maybe you have nieces and nephews. But either way, you want to be able to have your system set out like a family structure. Even if you don't want a family yourself, you want your system to be built out like a family structure. And this is for those who have a family too as well. So, what's the purpose? Or let's talk about a few key things that you can use. Presence over performance. Now, this one is important, right? Because it's more important to be present than to be performative. This was something that I had to learn along my journey because I always thought that I had to put on a show in order for me to teach the things that I taught. But it was more so about me being present in the moment as opposed to me just showing up and performing. Like, oh, I had to have the right lighting, or this had to be right, or that had to be right, and if it didn't, then I couldn't do what I did. But being more present is more important, and intentional is more important than the performance itself. Leadership through example. Now, this is important for me because I'm building a family too. And the way that I show up is an example of how I lead. So the things that I speak about, the way that I carry myself, those are all examples of great leadership, right? And these are examples of how you can operate too as well in your life. Or these are great examples to show your family how to operate in life. Like, this is how our family operates. This is how our family moves, right? This is the structure that our family is built on. And finally, legacy through consistency. Consistency is so important when building a legacy because it's all about how you show up on a daily basis. And consistency is showing up even on the days you don't want to, right? Motivation gets you started, but consistency and discipline, those are the things that keep you going when you really don't want to. Like, sometimes I don't feel like making videos. I don't feel like teaching. I don't feel like researching, but I do it anyway because I have been indoctrinated in that way. Like, I've conditioned myself to just do the things anyway, despite how I may feel, because feelings are fleeting. Even like the other day, right? I didn't want to go to the gym. I got home, I brought some food for my wife, and she had to go to work. And I was like, I don't want to go to the gym. I just didn't feel like it was cold. I didn't want to. But something in me said, go to the gym. Because I knew in that moment, if I had succumbed to the feeling of I don't want to, I would have created a cycle of not doing what I needed to do when it needed to be done. So I said, nope, I'm just going to go. I don't care how cold it is. I'm just going to go. I'm going to figure it out. And guess what? I had an amazing workout. Oh, I had the best workout I've ever had. It was so amazing. I'm so glad I went. So that's what you want to do. You want to start building consistency now, so that way it carries you forward as opposed to momentum. And I'm gonna put all of this together, right? I'm gonna give you a simple rule of how this system works, how these systems work. So every decision in 2026 run through these 3 filters. 1, does this bring clarity or chaos? 2, does this strengthen or drain me? And 3, does this move me forward toward alignment or distraction? If it passes all 3 of these, it stays. But if it doesn't, it has to leave. So every single decision that you make, it has to go through these 3 filters. And it doesn't have to necessarily be these 3, but for you, it has to go through a screening process. Everything that you do, every person that you meet, they have to go through a screening process. And if they don't meet any of those criteria for you, they got to go. It doesn't matter how cool they are. It doesn't matter how great this thing may seem. If it does not meet the criteria, it does not go into the system. And it's just that simple. And this is the outcomes that we want. By the end of 2026, the divine level up produces, right? By the end of 2026, the divine level up should produce for you these results: a regulated mind, a disciplined body, a sharpened skill set, a grounded family life, and a life that moves with intention and not force. This is the most beautiful and most elegant way to live, because life flows that way. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to worry about nothing, because you already have a system of operations that you go through. And it doesn't have to be named this. I just call it the divine level up for me, because I am in a divine state coming up in 2026. I'm entering into a divine state coming into 2026. And so it can be named whatever is fitting for your family. But this is just the idea and a thought process for you to utilize so that way you can start implementing these things with your family today. So let me know in the comment section some things that stood out to you, and also let me know how are you going to implement this type of system in your life, and what are you going to call it, and what are some things you're going to include in it as well, because it doesn't have to be necessarily verbatim to what I had, but it could be something similar. So I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being on this journey with me, and thank you for allowing me to be on this journey with you. And I truly believe we do better when we grow together. So let's continue to grow with one another. And until next time, peace and progress.